Epiphany. What does that mean? What were the gifts? You're going to find out right now on Desert Life with Maria. Welcome to 2021, Epiphany Day. So, what were the gifts that they brought? How does that tie into Epiphany? And how is that part of our culinary experience, the King's Cake? So let's talk about the gifts that they brought. Yeah, the gifts and then the Epiphany. So it kind of ties in together. So the gifts are frankincense in an oil, which we pretty much use in our society now. This is really amazing. Was considered the most amazing perfumery. Is that how you say it? It was like an incense that emanated nothing but pure royalty. So only the best of the best at the time, at Christ's time, Herod, the people that were around at that Christianity time in terms of kingsmanship, got that kind of dignitary response. Then there was gold, and of course gold, power, money, fame, the star, and then there was myrrh. Myrrh was a gum resin, and it came from something that was a bark with a lot of thorns on it, very similar to the bark of a bougainvillea, believe it or not. And that myrrh, the resin from that myrrh was healing powers. And since Mary had just come out of childbirth, and they also symbolically foresaw that the Christ was also going to need some healing in his future, myrrh was brought to him. So how does all that play into the Epiphany and our King's Cake? So these gifts were literally brought the 12th day. The 12th day after the Christ was born, and that was the manifestation when they finally arrived of the Epiphany, such the name. Manifestation, 12 days later, a manifestation of our Lord. And nowadays, when people say, hey, have you had an epiphany? It's like, have you realized something? Has something changed? Woohoo! So how does that play into our cake today? Which is what we're going to be talking about. So as time progressed, of course, religious ceremonies, traditions started developing, celebrating the 12 days. And as time passed and Christianity went into parts of Europe, France, which was exploding with Christianity, had celebrations, had things going. They were also simultaneously exploding in the culinary world with cakes and chocolates. Hence, they decided, let's celebrate and make a King's Cake. And that's what we're going to do today. So, the easiest version of the King's Cake, you're going to have the three colors, the gold, the purple, and the myrrh, which comes out like a green color. You're going to see how we're going to do the easiest version. So, back in France, they would roll it, they would take time, they would make it into a dough, and there's different traditions. But we're going to do the super easiest version that you can do with your kids and family. You're going to get your hands on the Pillsbury Doughboy. Now, some of you are going to say, well, isn't that full of a lot of ugh? Surprisingly enough, the original Pillsbury Doughboy only has like 3 basic ingredients, which aren't that bad for you. Wheat flour is in here, a milk product, and of course the starch necessary to make it rise, which would be our soda and baking powder. So you crack this guy open, and depending on how big you want to make yours, because we're going to make it into a circular formation. Now, why do we want to make it circular? Well, I'm going to open this up here. The reason we want to make our cake circular is that the kings, the 3 magi's, would purposely go in circles to try to confuse Herod's people as to where Christ was. So they decided, in making their king's cake, let's make it into a circle. And in some cultures, they made it even looking like a crown. But in all cases, it was rolled. So since our pastry dough is already rolled and it has a middle section, we're going to put it together like a flower. And if my cameraman comes closer, he's going to see that what I'm doing is I'm going to connect all of these and make like a little flower. So I'm kind of connecting them. There we go, in the middle. And you'll need about maybe 6 of these. We're gonna do a baby one so you can kind of get an idea. Speaking of baby, how does baby fit into this? So some of the cultures, Polish, out in Lithuania and some of the other European countries, they started to get an idea that since Epiphany is so important and changes in the new year, how can we make this celebration even more fun? So they decided to put inside the king's cake either an almond, a bean, or a coin. And why that? They believed that if you put in an almond, which we're gonna do, we're gonna hide it in here, so it won't hurt anybody. I'm gonna kind of stick it in the middle of somewhere. No one's gonna know where it is. It gets this little cake, so I kind of put that. But they believed that the almond or the bean, whoever got that, one of 2 things would happen depending on the country. In some countries, they believe the person that got it would have good luck for a whole year. In France, what they believed is that that person would be king for a day, and everybody would have to apply their whims, their wishes to that person. How cool is that? So, the French come over to America. They arrive in Louisiana, good old New Orleans, and of course, the city of celebration. And what did they decide to do? They decide to do an incorporation of Christianity and would put in a baby plastic. Yeah, plastic baby in there. And the person that got the plastic baby would not only have good luck for a whole year, but was supposed to be a representation of total epiphany for those in that community. So now we take our little circular roll, we're gonna put it into an oven that's been preheated at 375, and it's gonna cook for about 15 minutes or so. Now when we're done, this is what it's gonna look like. So you're not sitting here waiting. Notice, it's now, I'm gonna kind of open it up because I had it done in saran here. Should have had it ready for you guys. This is our circular, you can see, and somewhere in here is hidden an almond. I chose an almond instead of a bean or a coin because whoever gets this, I don't want them to hurt their teeth, but that must have been kind of fun when they did that. So this is what it looks like. Now what do we do? So this is the fun part. This is where we're really gonna make it super fun and healthy because the majority of the sugar that comes in this is in the frosting, and we don't wanna have a lot of sugar. So what I've done is a little fun substitution icing. I've taken a protein powder that I love, isolene vanilla. I took 1 scoop of that. I took a lactose-free cream cheese, dairy-free, that's super creamy by Green Valley. There's other ones on the market, but I really like this one. So 1 scoop, 1 entire little tub of this, it's about 8 ounces, and a little bit of vanilla extract to give it some tinge of sweetness, but it really doesn't need any because of the cream cheese. So now we put all this together, and you'll see it kind of comes together like a really nice icing. Ooh, I'm kind of tangled up here with my, okay, here we come. So it kind of has a creaminess to it. Hi, Patty. Hi, Deanna. So this creaminess, this easiness, this becomes our icing. And we're gonna just kind of dribble it on our king's cake in the making. Notice how nicely it comes. Now, if you guys really feel you need more sugar after you taste this, which I honestly don't feel you will, the protein powder that I use has such an amazing flavor and a lot of nutrition already. But if you do, I would suggest that you use our ethanol, which is a sugar substitute. It's basically stevia, and it's from a natural plant-based leaf. So that would be amazing. So I have enough icing for 2. Now here comes the fun part. We are going to make this the king's cake. So you can go on the market and find all different kinds of colors that will work. But my go-to to truly make it a king's cake are the royal color. Remember, this one's going to be representing our frankincense. This is going to be representing our myrrh, which is of healing, hope, faith. And this is going to represent our power and our royalty, the gold. So this sugar is very pure and light, so there's only like about 10 calories if you're worried. So we've got a really good simple base from Pillsbury. We've got the icing, and now we alternate. And we just make it like this. And then we add a little green. And your final product is going to look like la-la. When you're all completed, this is our king's cake. Now this is a little mini version. How much fun can this be to start a tradition with your family? Basic, simple ingredients that you can do. It tastes good, it's fun. You can have everyone get involved in the process, making it. If you use 2 of these, you'll make a nice big circle that almost looks like a crown. There's only 2 of us in our home, so I made 2 little ones so that I can give one to my neighbor. And I am excited to see which one of us is going to get the little almond in there, because I really want a kick-ass year. So I'm leaving you with this. What is going to be your epiphany, and how are you going to enjoy the king's cake? Start a tradition in your family. How cool was it that an experience of a magi brought together celebration, great food, great times, and now we today can benefit from the different experiences of a wonderful thing that happened centuries ago. So have an epiphany of a day. Let me know how you are going to be doing so yourself. See you next week on